Good evening and welcome to In Song and Story, episode number 21. Here we are in August 12th. August 12th is my brother-in-law's birthday, Paddy. Paddy's down there, took a trip down to Cork in the south of Ireland for a couple of days. Spoke with him earlier on, he's drinking gin and tonic down there. I'm drinking gin and tonic here, so happy birthday to Paddy. Happy birthday to anybody out there who is having a birthday today. Sláinte and cheers. So on social media, somewhere in the last couple of weeks, I mentioned that I might do one of these episodes with a cappella songs, for the better way of saying it, unaccompanied songs. And it was a flurry of activity. Most of the suggestions were, don't do it, don't do it. But we had a couple of people say, go on, give it a shot. So we will. Not quite a cappella, a cappella music, chapel music, played in cathedrals and played unaccompanied, completely unaccompanied by any musical instrumentation. And I'll just use the guitar for a bit of vamping tonight. So we'll try a couple of songs. Certainly the first two songs were not at all written as a cappella songs. The first song was written by the late Bard of Armagh, the great Tommy Macomb, who came from the village of Cady in County Armagh, and he came to America in 1955, spent most of his adult life living in Dover, New Hampshire, when he was not touring, and he's buried there along with his wife. He wrote this great song, tongue-in-cheek song that I've enjoyed over the years, and it's called The Town of Ballybay. Ballybay is a small town in County Monaghan in the North Midlands of Ireland. And as I said, very much a tongue-in-cheek song. In the town of Ballybay there is a lassie dwelling, I know her very well and the story's worth a telling. Her father kept the still, he was a good distiller. When she took a drink, sure the devil wouldn't fill her. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. Now she had a wooden leg, it was hollow down the middle. She used to tie a string on it and play it like a fiddle. She fiddled in the hall, she fiddled in the alleyway. She didn't give a hoot, she had to fiddle anyway. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. Then she said she couldn't dance unless she had her wellies on. When she had them on, she could dance as good as anyone. And she wouldn't go to bed unless she had her shimmy on. When she had it on, she'd go to bed with anyone. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. She had lovers by the score, every Tom and Dick and Harry, courting night and day, but still she wouldn't marry. Then she fell in love with a fellow with a stammer. When he tried to run away, she hit him with a hammer. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. She had children up the stairs, children in the Briar, another 10 or 12 sitting roaring by the fire. She fed them on potatoes and soup she made with nettles, lumps of hairy bacon that she boiled up in a kettle. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. I love telling the audience that in every Irish song there's a sad verse. This is the sad verse. Now she led a sheltered life, eating porridge and black pudding. She terrorised her man until he died right sudden. When the husband died, she was feeling very sorry. She rolled him in a bag and she threw him in a quarry. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. In the town of Ballybay there is a lassie dwelling, I know her very well and the story's worth a telling. Her father kept the still, he was a good distiller. When she took a drink, sure the devil wouldn't fill her. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the dad. If you're sitting there looking at this and you're thinking, I'd like to join in, this is a good time to join in because it's almost over. Here we go. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. With me ring-a-ding-a-dum, me ring-a-ding-a-daddy-o, ring-a-ding-a-dum, and me whack for the daddy-o. Tommy Makeham's In the Town of Ballybay. It's always a fun song to sing. Let's move right along now, and here's a song recorded, or written, I should say, by one of America's most iconic, I think, most eclectic, and certainly eccentric songwriters, a man named Tom Waits. And he's got some wonderful songs. Back in the early 80s, Bruce Springsteen had a hit with one of his songs, Jersey Girl. Willie Nelson, along with Sheryl Crow, and I think Willie's son Luke, recorded Come On Up to the House, which is a great song. There's another great song of his, My Piano's Been Drinking. Not me. I just love it. But sometimes he writes in I suppose, something in a style that fits the whole Celtic sort of music. And this is one of those songs, I believe, or I'm of that opinion. It's called The Briar and the Rose. I first heard this performed by a group from Nova Scotia, up on the maritime provinces of Canada, the Cotters. There was Kieran and Fiona McGilvery and Rosie and Jimmy Mackenzie, known as the Cotters. We had them down here in Savannah for a one-day festival back in the early 2000s for Tarafesh, and they were wonderful. They were very young kids at the time. I'm sure they're grown up now, and I have no idea what they're doing, what kind of music they're playing, or who they're playing with. And I heard a second version of this that we ended up playing on our radio show, the Green Island radio show. It was recorded by Dublin singer-songwriter Niamh Parsons. The song is called The Briar and the Rose. I fell asleep down by a stream, and there I had the strangest dream. And down by Brennan's Glen there grows a briar and a rose. There's a tree in the forest, and I don't know where. I built a nest out of your hair, and climbing up into the air, a briar and a rose. Well, I don't know how long it's been, but I was born in Brennan's Glen. Near the end of spring there grows a briar and a rose. I picked the rose one early morn, I pricked my finger on a thorn. It had grown so high, its winding wove the briar and the rose. I tried to tear them both apart. I felt a bullet in my heart, and all dressed up in spring's new clothes, the briar and the rose. And when I'm buried and in my grave, tell me then so I will know. Your tears may fall to make love grow, the briar and the rose. And when I'm buried and in my grave, tell me then so I will know. Your tears may fall to make love grow, the briar and the rose. The Briar and the Rose, written by Tom Waits. And that's for Barry out there who listens every week, and Tricia who's up in Sylvania. Georgia, she listens. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, my friend Ed Davis. And I always like to give a shout out to Scott McClatchy, who's up there in Philly, doing one song each day, 151 or 52 songs. My word, that's a lot of songs. My good buddies down in Pompano Beach in Florida. They'll be back doing music from the Treehouse soon, Jose and Patty. And here locally we've got Seldom Sober, still cranking out every Tuesday night. Carol Brown is up doing music from the farm on Monday nights. So I'm in good company doing this, and I hope you continue to tune in for as long as we do it. Right. This next song, the last song, is I suppose unaccompanied, but it's in Ireland. This would not be termed a cappella. It would probably come under the umbrella of Sean Nose style singing, and Sean Nose is simply its old Irish traditional singing, of the oldest form of traditional music, handed down in the oral tradition for centuries, really. And if you ever get a chance to see a Sean Nose singer, most of the songs are in Irish. There are a few songs in Irish and English, but it's the singer it's somewhat theatrical and hypnotic. The songs can be very, very long, and again the singer has a tendency to stare off into space and really get into the story of the music. There's a lot of ornation with the songs, and I guess what I would call vocal aerobics, which is done more now in pop music, that playing singing several notes within a syllable or a phrase or a few words. So the Sean Nose singers do that. There are different styles depending on what part of the country you go to. And there were one time in Ireland singing houses where there was no musical instruments at all. There were songs and stories, mainly songs, especially in Northern Ireland. But this song could also be called, I suppose, a street song or a Dublin ballad. It was written by Arthur Griffith, and Arthur Griffith was the founding member of the Sinn Féin political party in Ireland. He was also the leader of the delegation sent over to England in 1921 to, I suppose, negotiate the Anglo-Irish Treaty, along with Michael Collins and others. He died quite suddenly in August of 1922. And there are many similar songs like this written in Ireland about places or about girls. This is about a girl. Up in County Down, we've got Rosie McCann, the star or the flower of the County Down. Down in Kerry, we have Mary O'Connor, the Rose of Tralee. Another great old Dublin song is Biddy Mulligan, the Pride of the Coombe. You can travel from Clare to the County Kildare, from Drogheda right down to Macroom. But where would you see a fine widow like she? Biddy Mulligan, the pride of the Coombe, me boys. Biddy Mulligan, the pride of the... I don't think Drogheda is actually in that, but I'm from there, so I stuck that in, And then you've got Molly, the Rose of Mooncoin. Eileen Og, the Pride of Petrevore, written by the great Percy French. We've got Rose from the song The Lovely Rose of Clare. And this one is Kitty Quinn, the Pride of Pimlico. Pimlico is an area in the inner city of Dublin, and it's in that area or surrounding nearby areas where you find the Guinness brewery, and there were at one point a lot of distilleries, up to 6, but 3 in particular are mentioned in this song. So there's always a little bit of history with the song. The most famous of all, in Bow Street, opened in 1780, of course, is the John Jameson and Company, now the biggest selling Irish whiskey in the world. Then we've got, it was originally James Powers, but John Powers, and they were stationed or located in John's Lane. They opened the distillery in 1791, and their signature whiskey is Powers Gold Label whiskey, the first whiskey in Ireland ever to have been bottled. I have no idea how they were distributing it before that, probably in casks, but Powers Gold Label was the first single pot distilled whiskey to have been marketed in bottles. Both John Jameson and John Powers wrapped up their distilling in Dublin and joined with the Cork distillers to found the Irish Distillers Group, who are now located in Middleton in County Cork. And that's where both Powers and Jameson and Cork distillers make their whiskey. And there is tasting rooms and museums all within that Middleton distillery group down there in County Cork. But the biggest of all at one point in time was George Rowe and Company in the Thomas Street Distillery in Dublin. Established in 1751, there were two smaller distilleries. How do I know all this? Drink whiskey. Two smaller distilleries owned by Peter Rowe and Nicholas Rowe, and they came under the ownership of George Rowe. And in the 1800s, it was the biggest distillery in Ireland, and indeed one of the biggest distilleries in the world. The people who own Guinness now, the Diageo company, have injected 25 or so million, and they've built the distillery again very close to its original location, and it will be open. It was open, I think, in 2019, and they have tours, and you can go and have a look, and the distillery is there. In 2017, they released a blended Irish whiskey under the signature name George Rowe and Company Irish Whiskey. There you go, a little bit of whiskey information. The song is called The Pride of Pimlico. Oh, come on. And my version of this I learned from the singing of Kevin Conniff and the Chieftains. Oh, come all you broken-hearted ones, and listen to me lay about a lovely damsel, she's fair as any May. She's caused much tears and sorrow, and grief and heartfelt woe. Oh, it's Kitty Quinn I'm speaking of, the Pride of Pimlico. Well, it's just about a month ago, and to this place she came, and set her heart a-blazing up in love's undying flame, and made of every other lass about the place a foe, because she took their sweethearts to the Pride of Pimlico. For Paddy Burke the tailor, he could do a stroke of work, not Billy Shee the handyman, but steady Jack McGurk. And if you ask the reason, all they'll answer you is oh, it's all because of Kitty Quinn, the Pride of Pimlico. And Murphy the teetotaler, now he's gone upon the spree, and Keogh the whiskey drinker, he's drinking milk and tea. He's given up the Jameson, likewise the Power and Row, because his heart is distracted by the Pride of Pimlico. And even Cain the miser, that no one could get round, and young Tom Fay, who owns the forge and near £100, and Matt McCann, whose father keeps the Irish Waxwork Show, the raving night and day about the Pride of Pimlico. Well, it's time the police saw to it, well now it would be too late, and Divil the man and all the coon would have a solid pate, and soon be gone and Ridley's Hall a sight of awful woe. You see 10,000 victims of the Pride of Pimlico. The Pride of Pimlico. It's the last of the three songs. Thank you very much for stopping in to join me these last few minutes. I hope you're staying safe and healthy out there, happy as can be expected. You will find me here again, same time, same place next week. Until then, good night and God bless.